So you often probably hear, oh, my engagement used to be so amazing. My engagement used to be so amazing until that damn algorithm came in. Or you might be seeing a bunch of videos online saying, here's how to get past the algorithm or how to hack the algorithm. Our tagline of our business is actually break the algorithm. But you might also be wondering, what the hell is an algorithm? Stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. If you're new to the channel, we are High Season, a social media agency that helps marketers, entrepreneurs, and business owners step their social media game up and break the algorithm. Today we're doing something different.
Yes, brand new series, social media Q&A.
Yeah.
Where we get crowdsourced questions from sometimes followers on social media, and we're going to answer those questions in kind of a bit more of a shorter, straightforward type of video.
Yeah.
And we figured we start with something, as you said, that's in our tagline, the algorithm. What the hell is the algorithm?
What the is the internet?
So this is from Dave Seacott in Detroit, Michigan. Represent, shouts to you. So he basically said a lot of people don't understand that part of social, meaning the algorithm. And I feel it's important that they have a why with their strategy, even with regard to SEO, search engine optimization, which we'll touch on as well. The meaning of that and why it's important to users.
Okay, so let's first talk about what an algorithm is, and then we'll talk about how that applies to social media. So an actual algorithm is something that's more like a computer process. So what that is repeated actions, or basically a smart process or system that allows something to run, I guess you could say.
Yeah, it's like a mathematical, like an equation of sorts that is now being taken from the math world and put into computer science, I guess you call it.
I would say something
programming.
Computer science. Yeah, it falls under the computer science category.
It's a little over our heads, but basically that's what an algorithm is, and the reason why most of us don't know it is because we don't ever
We're not in computer science and we never really deal with it.
That's what I'm saying.
Now when it affects us, though, is when we get to social media.
Yes.
So the algorithm in relation to social media is what is running in the background that tells all the big social media guys, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, what content is deemed engaging, interesting. What should we be serving to our audience? Now you have to understand the entire point of these applications is to keep you inside the app. How do they do that? By showing you content that you like. And the only way with all of this content that's coming in for them to determine what is interesting and what's not is to use an algorithm. So the algorithm is actually a ton of formulas based on your actions that determines what you're going to see. And then, of course, there are the ads that get to break through that algorithm, which...
Of course, pay to play.
Because you pay to play.
Pay to play. And also, just a quick note is that the algorithm is personalized.
Yes.
So there's an overall algorithm that determines how it works as a whole, but then each individual user is therefore... I was going to say targeted. I'm not sure if that's really the word. Like served content based on their past history and of how they've used the platforms, like what content they've engaged with for the longest, things like that, like different metrics. And then what the aims of the platform are, like Facebook, for example, are looking to push a more personalized thing. So they've actually pushed the publishers, meaning the brands and news organizations and stuff, down in the algorithm.
Business owners. So if you're a business owner who was once upon a time getting full visibility, which you were, there was a time that you posted something to your business page and everyone saw it. That is not the case
now
anymore.
It's literally
now it's
zero.
actually zero.
Actually zero. So it's like pay to play or nada, really. So people have to be sharing it, or to reach new people. You have to pay, or you can have, which is interesting. We were speaking to someone yesterday who was telling us that they had put our podcast with see first, so they get to see all the stuff. The see first is what really you want everyone to do, because that breaks the algorithm.
That's actually how I personally use the feed.
Same.
And that's actually a tip. You can ask people to put see first on their page in order to see your content and kind of break through that. And I have that for all the news publications that I still want to
otherwise you're not going to see them.
Otherwise you wouldn't see them. You're just going to see your friends and family. And to be honest, I don't care about just seeing my friends and family.
No.
Sorry, guys. But I prefer
We
the
use it
news
for
and
business,
publishing.
right? Like-
if you're my friend or family, I'm texting you or whatever anyway, so I'm gonna find
facts.
you. Yeah.
Sorry, I did cut you off. You were describing that. I just wanted to point out that it was a
Yeah,
personalized thing and it
yeah.
wasn't just a general thing that's slapped on everybody.
No, that fits in perfectly. So Craig and I, even if we did follow the same people, we might interact with the content differently, so
Yeah.
we will not see the same feed. It's just
Yes.
not going to happen. And that's what the algorithm is supposed to do. Kind of sucks because you can put all this work into something that you think is beautiful and amazing and interesting and that everyone's going to love. But in the end, if you're missing the mark, and which is typically looking at your insights and not knowing what is actually the best performing content for you, you could totally just have 8 people see it. And that's just because the algorithm is like, last time something like this was shared, it didn't perform as well, so we're not going to serve this to a larger audience.
Yeah.
So actually, we do have a quote from Instagram, speaking of algorithms, which might give you a bit more insight. And this is something that they actually tweeted, because everybody's like, Instagram, you're changing the algorithm, blah, blah, blah. So they have to address this.
If you just go on Twitter and you search Instagram algorithm, it's just people yelling about it.
Basically.
It's actually pretty funny.
So and this is really important because I know a lot of people, Instagram is the main platform. Instagram says, this is a tweet from January 22nd, 2019, what shows up first in your feed is determined by what posts and accounts you engage with the most, as well as other contributing factors such as the timeliness of posts, how often you use Instagram, how many people you follow, etc. And they also said, we've not made any recent changes to the feed ranking, etc., etc. They're always making changes. So that kind of gives you kind of insight into how the algorithm works. Basically, it's something that allows the platforms to share what they deem as the most engaging content.
Yeah.
If you want some tips on how to break the algorithm, you can watch our videos. We have a ton of videos on this. There's no one way, really.
No.
It's really a cumulative or a compound.
Yeah, it's all compounded action.
It's
Exactly.
compounded actions that
Yeah.
assist this, which is you being knowledgeable of the platform, you really posting with intent, and making sure that you're not just posting to post, you have reasoning behind each one.
That's it.
Yeah.
Quick other thought, something like Twitter, we were just talking before, that they recently went to their own algorithm after having chronological timeline forever. And they changed it because I think it's like, at the end of the day, all these networks, when they all started like 10 plus years ago, there wasn't that many users, so chronological was fine. And as the brands get involved and like it's ubiquitous now, like everybody of all ages are on social, like there's kind of almost no other way to use it. If your feeds were chronological, you'd probably go kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But Twitter had so much pressure about it that they actually brought in an option where you can physically choose the option to put your feed in.
I know it's funny, I'm not using it.
No, they might, because since it's been...
I like the
Twitter's
I like
the favorite
algorithm.
algorithm.
Yeah. Twitter's my favorite algorithm, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like they're really good at showing you what you like.
Yep,
Yeah.
Twitter's really good at it.
Yeah.
So then that was one I wanted to note that quickly. The second part of Dave's question was search engine optimization.
Okay.
So about a decade or so ago, 2007, 2008, I worked in SEO when it wasn't new necessarily, but it was kind of like the thing. Social, like I think I joined Twitter in 2007. Facebook was only around a couple of years before that. So like, social wasn't really a thing yet. So SEO used to be the algorithm that mattered.
Yeah.
It's Google's algorithm. That's really all it is. And it was analyzing how to best maximize websites to show up in Google's search rankings because it's the most important one. Now, though, the interesting part, I think for the same reason that I just mentioned, that there's so much information, SEO is now almost as personalized as the algorithm for social media platforms. So if, Tiff, you search for something on your specific, if you're using Google Chrome, it's like personalized, and you use that for everything, and they're sucked into your Gmail, and like they can read everything.
Yeah.
Which we know
We know they do. Yeah.
Everyone knows that, and that's part of the service.
And if you didn't, surprise.
Yeah, well, happy days. Yeah, so that all comes in, then whatever I search is going to be completely different. So if we search for the same search term, we're going to get different results for the most part, just because of our behavior and activity. So SEO is very similar to that. There used to be like a whole bunch of best practices, and a lot of those are still the same, but a lot of them have changed. So, we're not really that kind of agency. We're not really going to talk too much about that. I'm sure there's a bunch of information about SEO, but it's essentially SEO is just the Google version of the social media platform's algorithm. So if you want to, look into that a little bit more, but both of them are something that you probably should be aware of to a degree.
And SEO is actually really important. Those practices are really great for platforms like Pinterest that have a bit more, have like rich text. And Instagram now, we don't know where they're going to go, but they have alt tags now.
Yeah. I don't We haven't really used them much.
I haven't really used them. Actually, I'm going to do a test with them.
And see if it makes a
Let's
difference.
do a test for a week with it and see
should.
if we notice any difference. And the only thing I can think of is because you are describing those images, it's gonna let Instagram know where it fits. So who to serve it to, and also maybe that also helps with opportunities in the Explorer page. So
yeah, definitely.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So that is our first installment of our Q&A series.
Nice.
What did we call it?
Social media Q&A.
Look at that, really inventive.
If you guys have a question at all, though, please feel free drop it in the comments here on YouTube, on any of our social networks, and we'd love to answer them.
So if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any more videos from us. Follow us on social media everywhere at High Season Co. And check out our website, highseasonco.com. And until next time.
Peace.